Coming up, a veteran and former drug addict who is still fighting to help others at home.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. This Veterans Day, we take time to share thanks and appreciation for the men and women who serve in our armed forces. But many of them fight an internal battle when they get home. WYMT's Zach Hawk shares the story of how one veteran fought off addiction and then decided to help his brothers and sisters in need.
I was sitting in jail one day and I woke up and I thought, man, what am I doing? Here I am, I got 2 children, I'm not even being a dad to them.
That thought is what led U.S. Army veteran Earl Young to addiction recovery care, but it came a long way into a dark journey.
I was homeless, basically living under a bridge. I didn't have nobody. I shut everybody out that loved me. If I didn't shut them out, I was robbing them, stealing from them.
Young became addicted to crystal meth while in the service, a problem that would follow him for the next 23 years. His journey to recovery began at ARC in 2019 and would lead him to another veteran in need.
A year ago today, I was back in the madness and strung plumb out.
On that Veterans Day, it was District Judge Kevin Mullins of Letcher County that pointed those close to Matthew Bailey towards a source of hope.
A friend showed up, Josh Fleming, at my house, asked me to take a ride with him up to Spring Hill, and he said, we're waiting on Earl. So here comes this giant man and just wraps his arm around me and says, I love you, you know, we're going to get you some help.
A fellow veteran, the two men formed a fast bond.
The bond that veterans have and service members have is almost indescribable. I can see a veteran in the mall or miles away from here, and I can feel that they're still my brother or my sister in arms.
Now, both men are committed to their fight against addiction and to finding other veterans in need. In Letcher County, Zach Hawk, WYMT Mountain News.
Research published in 2018 found that approximately 70% of veterans with past year problems did not receive treatment. Anyone who is looking for treatment can start at addictionrecoverycare.com or call an intake line at 606-638-0938. Thacker Memorial hosted its annual Veterans Day ceremony, bringing dozens of people to Annie E. Young Cemetery in Pikeville. State Chaplain Lee Watts spoke to the crowd about the importance of the service while highlighting the duty of every American to remember the prices paid. Watts, who served in the Air Force for 11 years, says it's important to show previous generations of veterans that their service was not in vain. He says Veterans Day always makes him think of those who served in Vietnam.
When I came home from Baghdad, I came home to a hero's welcome. Those men did not. And because of what they went through coming home is the reason that me and my comrades in arms were able to come home to a hero's welcome. It's the one that they should have had.
He says continuing traditions like the one at Annie E. Young is a great way to keep the thankful spirit alive. And hometown heroes hit the streets in Pikeville, marching down Main Street with a crowd of kids cheering them on. It was a veterans march organized by Lisa Sizemore, a Main Street board member and teacher at Pikeville Elementary, with students lining the streets as the local veterans paraded to the park. The students sang songs, read letters, and cheered the veterans on to celebrate the day.
Just seeing their smiles as they walk down the street and to hear the kids chant for them and for them to feel that pride and that honor is something that I hope that these kids will forever remember.
Officials say the turnout for the event was better than anyone expected, and they are proud to be in a place where people take the time to thank those who put it all on the line. Somerset marked Veterans Day with a huge presentation. 2 veterans presented the country's flag by parachute. It also marks the 20th anniversary of the Horse Soldiers military mission in Afghanistan, and soon Horse Soldiers Bourbon will call Somerset home. Those at Letcher County Central also held a Veterans Day celebration. It was in the school's cafeteria and parking lot and featured a catered breakfast and parade. Event coordinator Josh Tyree says this year was a little different given the circumstances surrounding the pandemic. They usually host an assembly, but this year was all about safety.
We have elderly veterans, we have some vulnerable citizens, and so we wanted to protect them but still honor them. And so we decided that a parade right in front of the school would be a great opportunity for us to celebrate them and salute them and thank them for their service, but at the same time protect their safety and be respectful of that.
Tyree says this is the first time they have hosted a parade during their Veterans Day celebrations.
Many of those celebrations today taking place before our cold front arrived in the region. We even saw a little bit of sunshine out there this morning. This evening, a completely different story. You see from our camera at the University of Virginia at Wise. So that sunset we had, then here comes the cold front with that blustery wind, the brief heavy rain. The good news is, though, we're starting to ease on out of things. Notice we're down into the 50s now, low 50s in downtown Whitesburg. Still damp streets, but we're improving out there. Temperature-wise, though, not quite. Upper 40s, low 50s after many of us got into the 70s today around the region. We will continue to see some of those showers moving on out, the last of them pushing through the Big Sandy and into southwest Virginia and into West Virginia as well. And pretty soon we'll be done with all of the showers. So as we head through the rest of the night tonight, we're going to see those temperatures falling big time down into those low to mid 40s with showers coming to an end. However, even colder weather is on the way for the weekend. I'll have the details on that coming up in just a few short minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Investigators are asking for the public's help locating a car that was involved in a hit and run Wednesday evening in Wise County, Virginia. Virginia State Police say a man was hit while jogging along Hurricane Road towards Johns Road. The jogger was thrown into a ditch and discovered by a passerby several minutes later. He was then flown to the Johnson City Medical Center with serious injuries. Investigators believe the car was a 1999 to 2001 Jeep Cherokee with damage to the front and/or side and a missing passenger side mirror. Anyone with information is asked to call State Police at 276-228-3131, or you can email vsp.virginia.gov. Kentucky State Police are investigating a stabbing in Floyd County. Troopers responded to a home on Spurlock Fork in the Dana community on Wednesday and found a man with stab wounds. Police say a verbal argument between Wesley Centers and Timothy Centers became physical and led to Timothy Centers being stabbed. Wesley Centers was arrested and taken to the Floyd County Detention Center. He's charged with assault. Some good news for those looking for work in Perry County. WellCare of Kentucky and the Eastern Kentucky Concentrated Employment Program had a job fair Wednesday at the Hazard Perry County Senior Citizen Center. WellCare is offering at-home work opportunities with competitive wages as well as a $3,000 sign-on bonus, something that agency ambassador Trish Adams says went a long way in attracting potential hires.
I think it was a major selling tool. And, I think that, these job opportunities are paying very good wages and great benefits. There's a lot of good selling perks there. And in today's workforce climate, it's basically a job seeker's market.
Those looking for more opportunities can contact EKSEP at 606-436-5751. Officials with App Harvest remained optimistic about expansion and return on investment despite a falling stock price. The Lexington Herald reports in August, App Harvest, based in Moorhead, reported a net second quarter loss of $32 million. That loss is attributed to the price of tomatoes hitting a 10-year low and a dip in the quality of those tomatoes. CEO Jonathan Webb attributed the company's problems to its inability to produce high-quality tomatoes and scaling up their Moorhead facility to 400 employees. At the same time, the company still plans to open 3 farms next year in Berea, Richmond, and Somerset. Staff at Kentucky River Community Care are working to help men and their mental health. Staff say men often go through life bottling up how they feel out of the fear of being labeled weak. But licensed professional clinical counselor at KRCC, Randy Cloth, says everyone should work to take care of their overall well-being. This includes mentally, physically, spiritually, and socially.
We talk to ourselves in positive, helpful, hopeful ways can make a very, a very big difference. And also helpful, positive, healthy activities, recreation, hobbies.
Cloth encourages men to feel comfortable expressing how they feel, but if needed, to reach out for counseling. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, a Kentucky mother channeling her grief to alert others about a concerning trend, how fake pills with a deadly ingredient are having devastating consequences on young Kentuckians.
And we've got highs in the 7-day forecast on par with tonight's forecast low. I'll have the very latest on our cold surge straight ahead.